In the long and turbulent history of early Islam, there are stories not only of immediate faith and sacrifice, but also of gradual transformation, of hearts that resisted before they surrendered, and minds that questioned before they believed. Among these remarkable journeys stands the story of Amr ibn al-As, a man known for his sharp intellect, political skill, and unwavering determination. His path to Islam was not simple, nor was it sudden. It was a journey shaped by pride, reflection, strategy, and ultimately, truth. Amr ibn al-As was born into the powerful Quraysh tribe in Mecca, a city that stood at the heart of Arabia both economically and spiritually. The Quraysh were custodians of the Kaaba, a sacred site visited by tribes from across the region. This role gave them not only prestige but also immense influence. Amr grew up in an environment where leadership, diplomacy, and eloquence were highly valued. From an early age, he displayed exceptional intelligence and a natural ability to navigate complex situations. He was not merely a warrior, he was a strategist. He understood people, power, and politics. These qualities made him one of the most respected figures among the Quraysh. Yet, these same qualities would initially place him firmly in opposition to the message of Prophet Muhammad. When the Prophet began calling people to Islam, the message challenged everything the Quraysh stood for. It called for the worship of one God, the abandonment of idols, and a moral code that placed justice and humility above tribal pride and economic gain. For leaders like Amr, this was not just a spiritual threat, it was a political and social upheaval. Amr ibn al-As did not reject Islam out of ignorance. On the contrary, he understood the implications of the message more clearly than many others. He saw how it could dismantle the established order, weaken the authority of the Quraysh, and disrupt the economic system built around idol worship. For him, opposing Islam was not merely a matter of belief, it was a calculated decision to preserve the status quo. As the early Muslims faced persecution in Mecca, some of them sought refuge in Abyssinia, under the protection of the just Christian king, Negus. This migration was a significant moment in Islamic history, as it allowed the believers to practice their faith freely away from the oppression of the Quraysh. Amr ibn al-As was chosen as part of a delegation sent by the Quraysh to bring these refugees back. It was a mission that required diplomacy, persuasion, and cunning, qualities Amr possessed in abundance. He traveled to Abyssinia with gifts, hoping to win the favor of the king and secure the extradition of the Muslims. Upon arriving, Amr presented his case with confidence. He portrayed the Muslims as rebels who had abandoned the religion of their people and created division within their society. His argument was carefully crafted, appealing to the king's sense of order and authority. However, the Muslims, led by Ja'far ibn Abi Talib, were given the opportunity to present their side. What followed was a moment that would leave a lasting impression, not only on the king but also on Amr himself. Ja'far spoke about the transformation brought by Islam, how it lifted people from ignorance, injustice, and immorality to a life of truth, compassion, and righteousness. He recited verses from the Quran that spoke of Maryam and her son Isa, drawing a powerful connection between Islam and Christianity. The king was deeply moved. He recognized the truth and sincerity in their words and refused to hand them over. Despite Amr's efforts, the mission failed. For Amr ibn al-As, this was not just a political defeat, it was a moment of quiet reflection. He had witnessed something he could not easily dismiss, a message that resonated beyond tribal boundaries, and a group of people whose faith gave them strength and dignity even in exile. Yet, Amr did not immediately accept Islam. His pride, his position, and his commitments held him back. He returned to Mecca and continued to oppose the Muslims, participating in efforts to suppress the growing movement. Years passed, and the balance of power began to shift. Islam was no longer a small, persecuted movement. It had gained strength, followers, and influence. The migration of the Prophet to Medina marked the beginning of a new phase, where Muslims established a community based on faith and justice. Amr observed these developments closely. He was a man who understood momentum, and he could see that Islam was not fading, it was rising. The turning point in Amr's life came after the Treaty of Hudaybiyah, a pivotal agreement between the Muslims and the Quraysh. Although it appeared to favor the Quraysh at first, it ultimately allowed Islam to spread more freely. For a strategist like Amr, the implications were clear. He began to question his stance more deeply. The resistance he had once justified as necessary now seemed increasingly futile. More importantly, he could no longer ignore the consistency, integrity, and resilience of the Prophet and his followers. It was during this period of reflection that Amr made a decisive choice. He would travel to Medina, not as an enemy, but as a seeker of truth. On his journey, he encountered Khalid ibn al-Walid, another formidable figure who had also been a staunch opponent of Islam. The meeting of these two men, both known for their military and strategic brilliance, marked a significant moment. Independently, they had reached the same conclusion: the truth of Islam could no longer be denied. Together, they continued their journey to Medina, carrying with them not only their past actions but also their hopes for a new beginning. When Amr ibn al-As finally stood before the Prophet Muhammad, the moment was profound. Here was a man who had spent years opposing Islam, now ready to embrace it. The transformation was not born out of defeat, but out of conviction. Amr accepted Islam with sincerity, and in doing so, he demonstrated a powerful truth, that guidance can come at any time, and that even the strongest opponents can become the most devoted supporters. Following his conversion, Amr ibn al-As became an integral part of the Muslim community. His skills, once used against Islam, were now dedicated to its service. He participated in key events and played a crucial role in the expansion of the Muslim world. One of his most notable achievements came during the Caliphate of Umar ibn al-Khattab, when he led the Muslim forces in the conquest of Egypt. His leadership and strategic insight were instrumental in establishing Muslim rule in the region, a legacy that would endure for centuries. Amr's story did not end with his conversion, it began there. His journey from opposition to faith became a testament to the transformative power of Islam and the depth of human reflection. He was no longer the man who sought to suppress the truth. He became one of its carriers. In reflecting on the life of Amr ibn al-As, one sees a narrative that goes beyond simple transformation. It is a story of intellect meeting truth, of pride giving way to humility, and of a heart that ultimately chose guidance over resistance. His journey reminds us that faith is not always a straight path. Sometimes, it is a road marked by questions, and inner conflict. But for those who seek sincerely, the destination remains the same. The legacy of Amr ibn al-As continues to inspire generations, not because he was perfect, but because he was willing to change.